If you drive a Chevy or GMC truck built after 2007 and you have heard a faint tick, tick, tick coming from your engine, I need you to stop what you are doing and pay attention. Because that ticking is not just a noise, it is a countdown to a $3,000 repair. If you are lucky, a $15,000 engine replacement if you are not, and a total loss if the dealer tells you what they told one owner, that the truck is not worth fixing. And I am not talking about some cheap economy car. I am talking about the Silverado, the Sierra, the Tahoe, the Suburban, the Escalade, the truck you are still making payments on. There is a class action lawsuit over this. GM lost. A jury hit them with $102 million. And here's the part that should make your blood boil. They still have not recalled a single vehicle. They are still installing the same part that fails. And there is a $40 fix on Amazon that GM will never tell you about. Let me walk you through exactly what is going on under that hood. Every modern GM V8 has a system called Active Fuel Management. The marketing pitch sounds great. When you are cruising on the highway and the engine does not need full power, the computer shuts down 4 of your 8 cylinders to save gas. Your big V8 temporarily becomes a 4-cylinder. GM says it saves you 5 to 12% on fuel. Sounds like a win. But here is what they do not put in the brochure. To pull off this trick, GM uses a special type of hydraulic lifter that collapses on command. Oil pressure tells it when to lock and when to release. Every few seconds on the highway, these lifters are cycling, locking, unlocking, locking, unlocking, thousands of times per drive. And they are sitting in plastic trays inside your engine. Now, I want you to think about that for a second. A hydraulic component cycling thousands of times per trip, held in place by a plastic guide, lubricated by oil that GM recommends you change every 7,500 miles. That is the engineering equivalent of running a marathon in flip-flops and wondering why your ankles gave out. Here's what actually happens when it goes wrong. And I talk to mechanics who see this every single week. The lifter either collapses and stays collapsed, or it spins inside its plastic tray. When it collapses, it stops opening the valve on that cylinder. Immediately you get a misfire. The engine starts ticking. If you catch it right there, a mechanic can sometimes replace just the lifters on that bank. That is your $3,000 bill. But most people do not catch it right there. Because the ticking starts subtle. You think it is a cold start thing. You think it will go away. And while you are hoping it goes away, that collapsed lifter is chewing into the camshaft lobe directly above it. The cam gets gouged. Metal shavings flake off into the oil. That contaminated oil circulates through every bearing surface in your engine. And now you are not replacing lifters. You are replacing lifters, the camshaft, push rods, and possibly the entire bottom end. That is your $8,000 to $15,000 bill on a truck that might be worth $20,000. And in 2019, GM somehow made it worse. They replaced AFM with something called Dynamic Fuel Management, DFM. The original system had 8 collapsible lifters and 8 standard ones. DFM made all 16 lifters the collapsible type. They doubled the failure points and called it an upgrade. Now the system can run on any combination of 2 to 8 cylinders across 17 different patterns. More complexity, more cycling, more ways for things to break. Early failure reports on DFM trucks have been brutal. One owner's 2024 Sierra 8-4 suffered complete engine failure at 20,000 miles. Not 100,000, 20,000. On a truck that cost over $60,000 new. The engine just shut off on the highway. No warning, no tick, no check engine light, just silence, at 70 miles per hour. If you've watched this far, something tells me you're enjoying the video. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to this channel. We've got loads to uncover. Now let me tell you something that genuinely disgusted me when I found it. When these lifters fail under warranty, GM's official repair procedure is to replace only the failed lifter on the failed bank with the same defective AFM lifter. Every experienced mechanic will tell you this is the wrong repair. The correct fix is to replace all 16 lifters and the camshaft with non-AFM components. But that is not what GM authorizes. So owners get their truck back, drive it a few thousand miles, and the other bank fails. There's a forum post from an owner whose mechanic replaced the lifters on one side for $1,500. 3 months later, the exact same lifter in the exact same cylinder failed again, because the camshaft was already damaged the first time and nobody caught it. He was back at square one. And here's where the money tells the real story. In 2016, GM quietly reduced its powertrain warranty from 100,000 miles down to 60,000. Right as these lifter failures were accelerating in the field, they knew what was coming. They shortened the coverage window so that by the time your lifter ticks, you are on your own. A GM technician posted publicly on a truck forum, and I want you to hear what he said. His advice to other GM truck owners was, and I quote, "Just get an extended warranty." That is a GM tech telling you to buy extra insurance against a defect the manufacturer knows about but will not fix. Owners took GM to court. In 2022, a jury awarded $102.6 million after finding that GM breached its warranty and knowingly sold a defective product. The Generation 4 5.3-liter engine alone accounts for roughly 4.1 million vehicles on the road. After years of appeals, $175 million settlement was approved in October 2025. Eligible owners in California, North Carolina, and Idaho are receiving average checks of $3,300 per vehicle. $3,300. That does not even cover half the repair. A separate class action covering 2014 through 2021 models with the newer AFM and DFM systems is still grinding through the courts right now in 2026. Alright, here's what you can do. First, if you own any GM truck or SUV with a 5.3, 6.0, or 6.2 liter V8, check whether your engine has AFM or DFM. If it was built after 2007, it almost certainly does. Second, buy an AFM or DFM disabler. They cost $40 to $150 on Amazon. You plug it into the diagnostic port under your dash. It takes 30 seconds. It keeps your engine running in full V8 mode at all times, which eliminates the constant lifter cycling that causes the failures. You will lose maybe 1 to 2 miles per gallon on the highway. That is a trade you should make every single day of the week. One owner bought a 2020 Denali, installed a disabler on day one, and put 300,000 miles on it. Original engine, original transmission, 0 issues. Third, if you're already hearing a tick, do not wait. Every mile you drive on a collapsing lifter is doing more damage to the camshaft. Get it into a shop and demand a full AFM delete with non-AFM cam and LS7 lifters. Not a one-bank lifter swap. Not an OEM replacement. A full delete. It costs more upfront, but it is the only repair that actually solves the problem instead of restarting the clock on the same failure. Here is what keeps me coming back to these stories. GM built the small block V8 into one of the most legendary engines in automotive history. Your grandfather's 350 ran for 300,000 miles on nothing but oil changes and stubbornness. And then GM looked at that legacy and said, you know what? This needs a fuel-saving gimmick that destroys the engine at 80,000 miles so we can sell them another truck. 4.1 million vehicles with the same known defect, 2 lawsuits, $175 million in settlements. And the part is still going into new trucks rolling off the line today. If that does not tell you everything you need to know about what these companies think of the people who buy their products, I do not know what will. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel and send this to anyone you know who drives a GM truck. They need to hear that tick before it turns into a phone call they cannot afford.